The 2024 NFL season has thrown some serious curveballs at us. It feels like every week delivers new surprises. But up until this most recent week, the quarterback play was hella underwhelming. We used to watch gods play back then. So say the dumbest Rock Brady fans that have become the NFL equivalent to Jordan fans. Except, Jordan was actually as great as people thought he was. But as long as a threat to Brady's perception as the NFL's GOAT exists, we will have to deal with Brady fans downplaying this era of quarterback play even after a week where we just literally watch quarterback gods dominate. As the Ravens won 41-38 in overtime, overcoming multiple double-digit deficits. Both Lamar and Burrow have played fantastic this season, as is Josh Allen when you consider his weakened receiving core, with Diggs moving to harder and more humid pastures in Houston. Allen's having an interesting season, where he's very efficient, but also not passing a whole lot. But about a week ago, he looked like the MVP favorite. The usual suspects have been dominating, at least most of them, more on that later. But we've also seen three surprising hot starts, from Carr, Darnold, and Mayfield. Up to this point, all three have a passer rating of over 100, are on pace to throw at least 27 touchdowns, 37 for both Mayfield and Darnold, and are in their first or second year on a new team. Carr was injured in his last game versus the Chiefs, and to be honest, he's had a long career of good, but not necessarily great production. He's also just now regressed back to the mean, like we all expected. But people were about ready to write off Mayfield and Darnold as their stint with their original teams and the Panthers were underwhelming. And after their failed Panther stint, both looked like their days as a starter was over when they joined the California team as backups. But with their new team, they have both looked elite, looking like the franchise quarterbacks Manny envisioned back in 2018. For Darnold, he's on a quarterback-friendly offense with perhaps the best receiver since prime Randy Moss to throw to. The Vikings are to date one of the only two undefeated teams. He was terrible in their last game, but against the washed Aaron Rodgers, it was enough for a win. Otherwise, he has been incredible. But are him and the Vikings for real? Get back to me after week 10. It's too early to say. Then there's Baker Mayfield in Tampa. He's silencing the critics. He's not just managing games. He's making big-time throws when it counts. His confidence is back, and it shows. He may not be Brady, but no Buccaneers fans missing Brady, and it's because of Baker's play since joining them. That being said, we know Carr is not at that level, and Darnold needs a few more seasons like this. But Mayfield had a great year last season, and was still a first pick for a reason. Maybe he's on the cusp of elite territory. But for now, it's too early to say. Allen, Burrow, and Lamar have been playing MVP caliber football for years, and all three have had at least one deep playoff run. As of now, they're firmly in the top 4 in my book, and no one has played better football from the quarterback position than those three. Not even the best. Now, speaking of the best, the Chiefs are 5-0, but they haven't been the dominant force we're used to seeing. Mahomes still makes jaw-dropping plays every week, but the offense hasn't quite hit that unstoppable rhythm yet. All of their wins have been close, and they've had to grind it out more than usual. Maybe it's the loss of key offensive weapons. Maybe it's the league catching up a little bit. But right now, they're a very frustrating team to watch, especially on offense. That being said, Spags is an amazing defensive coordinator, and he and the defense deserves a ton of credit. But the offense needs to step up. It's disgusting seeing Mahomes be utilized like he's not the most talented quarterback we've ever seen. So far, I just cannot rank any quarterback above Patrick Mahomes, because in the postseason, I have not seen a better quarterback. But if we're judging off of production, he has definitely not played like the best this season, or last season. Somehow, he's still the MVP favorite with middle-of-the-pack numbers. I suppose when you adjust for offensive support, he's still having one of the 5 most impressive seasons for a quarterback. But it's not MVP caliber, at least not yet. Hopefully that changes soon, and we see some vintage Mahomes stat lines. In the meantime, he is willing his team to wins. Am I doing it right, Brady fans? Speaking of which, all season, we've been hearing about how quarterback play across the league has fallen off since Brady hung up his cleats. Never mind that quarterback play was falling off in his last season, where he was statistically below average, throwing to Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. But whatever. After watching what Lamar, Allen, Burrow, and even Darnold and Mayfield have done, can we finally put that argument to rest? There's so many other promising quarterbacks playing right now in CJ Stroud, Brock Purdy, Dak Prescott, and Jordan Love. Watch my hype video, by the way. Then you have guys like Geno Smith on pace for about 5,000 passing yards. Granted, not the most efficient 5,000, but still. Then you have the rookies. Too soon to really have a strong opinion on their future, but Caleb Williams has rebounded from a bad start, and Jane Daniels has already broken some records. The old guard is holding up. Cousins threw over 500 yards like he was playing against a 2011 lockout defense, while Stafford, Rodgers, Dalton, and even Joe fucking Flacco have showed that they still belong. But they've also shown that they can't compete with the top group and are probably going to be behind some newer faces by the end of the season. The fact of the matter is, quarterback play in the NFL is fine. Sure, there have been some slumps and disappointments, but we're still witnessing elite performances every Sunday. Whether it's Lamar Jackson torching defenses with his arms and his legs, Josh Allen bulldozing his way to first downs, or Patrick Mahomes pulling off the impossible, these guys are making plays that would have blown our minds at any era. And they should only get better, as most of them are still under 30. Quarterbacks generally peak in their early mid-30s. So, for those saying quarterback play is in decline, just watch the tape. It's too soon to say that we're in a golden age for quarterback play, but I do think as football fans, we should consider ourselves lucky to witness these guys and their dynamic level of play. I still think these guys have another gear in them in a few years. But there's more to the NFL than quarterbacks. It seems the running back, even the fullback position, have made a bit of a resurgence. Derrick Henry left Tennessee for Baltimore, and he's currently on pace for a near 2,000-yard season. Henry is the last of a dying breed of 6'3" power backs. Although perhaps with today's NFL defenses being so pass-focused, we might see an emergence of the power back again. That and a new, better situation could explain the elite play from both Henry and Saquon Barkley as an oversized power back. Ultimately, it's still a quarterback league, which is why I would rather talk about them. As for defense, no team has really stood out there, but statistically, the Chargers and Vikings defense look just a little better. As far as bad defenses go, the Panthers, Bengals, and Jaguars seem like the worst so far. Individually, Aiden Hutchinson still leads the league in sacks even after a bye week. He looks like the early favorite to win Defensive Player of the Year, but TJ Watt isn't far behind. A lot of great defenders right now, so here's a highlight reel of them. Proceed to stop talking. Don't say that out loud. Anyway, the 2024 season is just heating up, and it's going to be exciting to see how it unfolds. Who is your MVP pick so far? What about your Defensive Player of the Year pick? Do the Chiefs look like they'll three-peat? Let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more sports content. Cyber out.